And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I have two games here, Dominant Species and Dominant Species. By day, they look the same, but when we turn them over, we see that the backs are very different. That's because I have first edition and third edition. And in the third edition, they made some artwork changes. That's basically what this is. Not necessarily a review here, because I really like Dominant Species. Yay! Okay? But I want to see what the changes are for the third edition. So for those of you who have the first edition, is it worth getting rid of and getting the third edition or not? It's going to be your choice. This won't be long. Here we go. So here we have the two rule books for the game, and the biggest thing that we need to mention right here is that there is no big thing really, and there's no rule changes. When you look and when you go through the rule book, there's a few minor differences, mostly the fact that they put the new pictures in. I notice here there's a hint on how to have a shorter game, but I think it's a pretty impressive feat though to show that he designed the game so well that it doesn't really need that much more. So basically all the changes are just aesthetic, and so you can see here's the changes in the tokens. These two are the older ones, these are the newer ones. Not a huge change. The newer ones pop a little bit more. Maybe they're slightly bigger. They're definitely better quality. They're thicker than these thin ones, so better quality is always nice. Then we have the cards, and again this is where we see that there's not a lot of rule changes here because the cards are basically identical in their functions, but wow, look at the difference. As we look at these different cards, like for example this aquatic here, I mean that's a huge difference. This feels like it's aquatic. Biodiversity, biomass, blight, catastrophe. I mean, as you look at these cards, there's just a huge difference in how much better the new ones look. I mean, I love the old Fertile with the ants crawling all over it, but the new one has little red ants crawling over it. This is the only one where the old one might be slightly better, but for the rest of them, it's just a slam dunk for the new ones because they just look so much better. You know, they look real. The pictures, it's beautiful artwork, just fantastic. I never had a problem with the old artwork until now. Now I'm like, what? I can't believe I use this stuff compared to the new things. So that's the artwork. The animal sheets are less pronounced of a difference. You can see that they have some new pictures, and they're formatted slightly different, so that the new ones kind of has a friendly formatting as opposed to the other ones, which kind of look like a school textbook. But in essence, they're very, very similar. And now on to the board itself. A lot of people had a problem with the original board because it looked a little bland. And I never really thought much about it because the game was so interesting and so good. But man, when you see the new board, you looking at the old one? Are you looking at the old one? Now, whoa, look at that. It is so lush, so beautiful, the new tiles, and you can really tell a difference from the old tiles to the new ones. Here's an old jungle tile, and then here's a new jungle tile. Here's an old forest tile. Here's a new forest tile. Here's an old mountain tile. Here's a new mountain tile. The mountain tile is a huge change. Here's an old sea tile, and here's the new sea tile. Here's an old wetland tile. Here's the new wetland tile. Here's an old desert tile, and here is the new desert tile. And we could go on and on and on and on. It's just a big difference in these tiles. And the tiles also are quite a bit thicker. Let's say I'm going to put 4 of these tiles together, and you can see the thickness there. And I'm going to put 2 of the new ones together, and it's almost the same thickness. Almost. And thick tiles are always good. You can see the tiles here in the back. We have wanderlust tiles versus terrain tile. Just a semantic change. So, my conclusion is this. If you own the old one, there's no reason to buy the new one. You don't have to. They didn't make any substantial changes. Your old game will play just as fine. It's a fantastic, super well-designed game. But, you're going to be tempted because it looks so much better. I know that I'm going to be keeping the new version, getting rid of the old version, because the new one just looks that much better. And I like games that look that much better. I never had a problem with the original one until I saw the new one. The new package has obsoleted the old. But again, it's all aesthetic and semantics. There's no major game-changing things. So whether you want the new version or not is up to you. If you've never got it before, then come on, go get this game. It's one of the best designed.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.